Hi everyone, Chef Ron here, and we are just about ready to start this week's episode of the Chef Ron Lock Show. Before we do that, I just wanted to let you know that we've got coming back this week our resident Grandma Flo will be back, and she's going to go ahead and let you know what we'll be making this week, and also what's going into that recipe as well, with some fantastic ingredients that she'll be presenting to you. Then I'll come back in and show you how to put it all together and present it out in a fantastic format, and we'll take a little taste test at the end just to make sure everything is alright. So, I hope to leave you with the 3 E's we always try to do on each episode: a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of education, and a little bit of enlightenment. So, I better start getting it going and heating up this kitchen, and I will see you on the other side with the Chef Ron Lock Show. Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Florence Mae Johnson, Grandma Flo.
Hey y'all, it's Florence Mae Johnson, your Grandma Flo. Oh, thank you, hey, thank you guys. Oh, Lord. It's your Grandma Florence Mae Johnson here, and I am just so pleased to be back on the Chef Ron Lock Show. It's been a long time since I've been back here. I have had a very, very busy summer, let me tell you. It's just beginning too. But I have taken in my 12-year-old granddaughter, Ashley, for the summer. Reason I've had to do that is because she's a little bit of a precocious one, let's say. Oh hell, let's just break it down. She is a holy terror on wheels. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you. And I had her mama and daddy trying to do the best they can. They have a little bit of a problem with her right now. And so we all thought it might be a good idea for Ashley and I and Harry to spend a little time up at our farm up in Wisconsin. So she's staying up there with me right now. I'm just taking a little break down here for a weekend. Lord, I need one after this girl. She's already put me through the ringer. Let me tell you. Oh, we went, one incident, let me tell you real quick, and we're going to get on with this recipe and these ingredients. One incident real quick. We went shopping the other day at our local mall up in Wisconsin that we have up there. They got cheese and brats and all kinds of things up there that are just wonderful, and we're trying to just find some stuff, and we went to some clothes shopping place. You know, these girls in their clothes these days, oh my, you know, skirts just go up and down and up and down, and I'll tell you what, you know, back in my day, I mean, we had, you know, I grew up, years ago, I guess I'll say. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but anyway, you know, we were more refined and we wore more simple stuff back in those days, you know. But I know there were some fashions of people that had some crazy clothes. I wasn't one of them. But this girl, Ashley, thinks that she wants to dress like she's a model. See how that is, you know. So she's looking at these short skirts, and now they got these shorts. They got short shorts back in again that are way up to your hoo-hoo up here, and oh my Lord, I was like, she came out of the dressing room with some of this stuff, and I was like, oh girl, you need to get dressed. You ain't even dressed yet. You in your, what is these clothes? And she just says, Grandma, you are square. And I didn't even know they use that word anymore. I just had to laugh because I know what square means, right? I'm not that square because I know what it means. But, you know, she's trying to tell me that I'm behind the times. Now, I may not be on the pulse of America these days in fashion, but I do know when a girl's skirt is too short, when it's got too many holes in it, and shorts can ride up toward the yoo-hoo up here. I'm sorry, I don't want my granddaughter giving that impression to young boys out there. You know, no way. She's only 12 years old. And her mama apparently lets her buy this stuff. And I'm like, or buys it for her, I don't know. But I put a phone call into my daughter, and I said, Melinda, Melinda's my daughter's name. I said, Melinda, are you letting Ashley wear these hoo-hoo shorts and these skirts that got holes up and they're all up to her hips and stuff? She's like, no, Mama, I'm not letting her do any of that. Well, and Ashley, I asked her, and I said, your mama says she ain't buying you any of that. You told me she was. And Ashley's like, well, I said I thought she would, but she ain't. But she said that you'd let me buy them. And I said, oh, really? So I got to talk to Melinda again. This girl is just nothing but giving me a headache, let me tell you. But you know what? It's been a while since I've raised kids. And I'm telling you, my daughters and my son and everybody didn't have all that internet stuff and all the electronics they have today. I mean, that girl carries a phone with her. Always with this texting, by the way. I got a cell phone not too long ago. I waited. I was probably one of the last people out there that probably got a cell phone, unless there's people probably that are still out there who don't have them. But I'm one of the last ones probably who've got one. And I just never really needed one, but I got one because in case there was emergencies or something, I needed to have something with me while I was going around shopping or something like that, or out in the barn or something like that. Well, anyway, so Ashley's texting me all this stuff, and I can't. It's like a new language. It's like TXT. I'm with my BFF and going shopping, and she's got all these abbreviations for everything, and I'm like, what is a BFF? That sounds kind of dirty to me, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I like that word at all. She's like, it's best friends forever or something like that. I'm like, why can't you just talk English? She's like, well, it's texting language. And I said, well, I am a grandma that don't know texting language. Talk to me in English, please. I'm serious, So her and I having a little bit of a communication problem, a little bit of issue, but we're going to work out fine. I'm sure by the end of summer. She gets a little out of hand. I'll just have to put her in a timeout and ground her. She gets really out of hand. Well, Grandma's got a hand or two here that kind of give back to her too, Oh, now don't be going and saying that Grandma is an abuser. Oh, no. I ain't beating children or anything like that. Oh, I can hear the news now. Grandma Flo's beating her granddaughter. They ain't saying nothing like that. But a lot of you out there probably had parents that spared the ride, or that didn't spoil the child by sparing the ride. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what? A little spanking on the butt every once in a while ain't gonna hurt anybody. Don't leave any bruise marks or beat anybody, but a little spanking here or there ain't gonna hurt anyone. All these people out there are so passive about their children. Oh, child abuse, child abuse. Well, there's a fine line between correcting your children and beating somebody up. All right, come on, America, let's get off the aisles, get off the cross. Someone needs the wood. You know what I'm saying? Come on, people. I'm so tired of this PR stuff, this nicey stuff. Come on, let's get back to basics here. That's what Grandma's saying. All right, I'm on my soapbox now. I ain't stopping. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, oh please. All right. But anyway, so that's what my dilemma's been, and that's been my little project for the summer, is trying to get my granddaughter back into shape again. So I'll just need you all to pray for me out there that I get through this summer. Oh Lord, please, let me get through this summer. This grandchild's going to give me even more gray hair than I got right now. So anyway, all right, so your Grandma Flo, that's what's going on with her since the last time I've been here. And so let's go ahead and get on with the recipe, shall we? And we're going to go ahead and start showing you the ingredients, all right? We got a great macaroni and cheese recipe we're going to be doing, and we're going to be topping it with some crushed Doritos. And that's what we're going to be doing for you on this episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show. You're going to love this one. It's a creamy macaroni and cheese with Doritos on top. I think that's not probably exactly what the name of it is, but Chef Ron will give you the name, and you'll be able to find that in a lot of different places on social media and right here as well as he explains it to you. So let's go ahead right now and get started with the ingredients of this great Dorito-topped macaroni and cheese. All right, let's do that right now. First off, we've got 8 ounces of dried elbow macaroni. Now you're going to want to go ahead and just prepare that per the instructions on the box and get that set up. And Chef Ron will show you that a little bit later. All right. And next up here we got 2 cups of milk. We got here 2 cups of crushed Doritos, which is going to go on top of your macaroni and cheese casserole. All right. Then here we've got that's a 1/4 teaspoon of onion salt there. We got a 1/4 teaspoon mixed of salt and pepper there. We got a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder there. 1/8 teaspoon of paprika. We've got 3 tablespoons of butter. We've got here 3/4 cup of sharp cheddar cheese. We got here 1/2 cup of mozzarella cheese, 1/2 cup of Monterey Jack and Colby cheese mixed there. I think we did the 1/8 cup of paprika. Your grandma's getting a little old here, forgetful a little bit, so if I did that one, please just, humor the grandma, all right? And lastly here we got 2 tablespoons of flour. Woo! Chef Ron gives me these recipes that got 15 different ingredients in it all the time. I watch his show, and I watch all the other people that are on here do the ingredients and such, and nobody else has as many as I do. If you watch my shows, every recipe I do has at least 12 to 20 different ingredients. No lie, Grandma wouldn't lie to you. So I don't know, Chef Ron, he must just love his grandma and just thinks that she's got the mind of a 21-year-old. God bless him. Anyway, that's it. All right, well, guess what? Next up comes Chef Ron, and he's going to start showing you how to prepare this wonderful baked macaroni and cheese casserole with some Dorito topping on top. And for me, I got to get back to Wisconsin and check on my granddaughter, make sure she hasn't robbed the bank or has had some wild parties in the house while me and Harry were gone. All right, so pray for me, folks. Pray for me. And in the meantime, we'll see you the next time I'm on here. But for now, this is Grandma Flo, Florence Mae Johnson, saying to everyone out there, y'all have a wonderful day, and you just keep on smiling, even though the world might be raining on you, because tomorrow a rainbow may appear. All right, y'all have a great day. Bye-bye now. Well, hi everyone, Chef Ron here. How's everyone doing out there today? All right. Well, it sounds like we've got a crazy crowd out there today. That's wonderful. Y'all sound wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and tuning in to another episode of the Chef Ron Lock Show. We have a fantastic recipe that we're going to be doing for you, a fantastic side dish that Grandma Flo told you. It is going to be our creamy macaroni and cheese with crushed Dorito topping on top of that. And this is a wonderful side dish, especially for the kids. I know myself, when I make this and I have the little ones come over for dinner every once in a while, they love this side dish. A lot of times they ask me if Chef Ron, did you make that dish? Did you make that macaroni and cheese dish with the Dorito stuff on top? And so usually I try to accommodate, and there are certain ones that I know that like certain things, so I try to do the best I can to make sure that I make everybody happy. But this is a wonderful recipe. You're going to see here how we put this all together. It's very simple. We're going to keep it short and simple for you. Now we're going to the stovetop with this recipe for a little bit, and I know that scares a few people out there, because I know as soon as you pull a pan out or a Dutch oven or something like that and put on the stove, some people kind of go, ooh, they cringe, because it's like, it's gonna burn, there's always this horror story of how people burn things in their pans and such, and it's just really a technique of knowing how to do it, when to do it, and how fast or slow to do it, and the right proper heat as well. And we're going to show you all those today as we educate you. We hopefully entertained you a little bit with Grandma Flo here, And hopefully by the end of the show we're going to enlighten you as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing you want to go ahead and do is make sure your hands are clean, your environment is nice and clean. We've already gone ahead and done that before the show started. I'm going to roll up my sleeves because we're going to get a little busy here in the kitchen. Going to heat up this kitchen a little bit. All right. Bear with me just a second here. And while we're doing that, also, I want to tell you, somebody made a comment to me a couple weeks ago. They're a fan of the show, and they asked me, they said, you know, I love your show, I love what you do, you really teach us a lot of great things, your bits are funny, your characters are funny and everything, but I've got one pet peeve, and it's your kitchen. It's too small. Why can't you show camera shots in other areas and things so we can see more of you and less of your back, or less of a cabinet or something like that? Well, you know what? Take a second here. This is my kitchen right here. What you see over here is one side. This is a wall over here, obviously. I have a wall back here, and over here is a wall on this side. It's a galley kitchen, meaning it's just a walk-in. This is it. This is the space I have right here. I can only move so far. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of areas for cameras to get in and out of. I don't have open spaces or things that, you know, you can easily move around. I have a 2-camera setup here, so basically it pretty much is one on the meal or one on a close-up of whatever I'm doing, and the other one is what you're seeing right here. So unfortunately, that's all I have to work with, unless somebody either buys me a new home or gets me a bigger kitchen or I get a cable contract somewhere. Then maybe I'll have a bigger kitchen, a wider area, and a little bit better thing to do. So I just wanted to tell you that, because I've had a couple people actually say that to me, so I thought, you know, let me just get that out in the open and explain why sometimes you might get a little frustrated, or you might want to see more angles and different things. Well, this is pretty much it. This is it. And so we try to do the best we can. I hope that we're doing the best we can for you. And until we get on cable, or until we get a bigger kitchen someplace, somewhere, you know, we're going to try to do the best we can to work within the little space area that we have here. So, all right, enough said. My sleeves are rolled up. Let's get started with our creamy macaroni and cheese with Dorito topping. All right, crushed Dorito topping. All right, first thing you want to go ahead and do, we've got here a large size saucepan. Get yourself a large size saucepan. Put your heat up to low. All right, now the first thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and take our butter, our 3 tablespoons of butter, and we want to melt that. So let's go ahead right now and start that. All right, let's add that in. Now, also, it really helps too if you get it melted. If you can go ahead and melt this a little bit, and you see I'm just kind of swirling it around like this a little bit, just trying to get it nice and melted and buttery like that. You know, you just want to kind of make sure that you get it all melted before you add in the rest of the ingredients. What we're going to be doing here is basically a roux. We're going to be adding some flour and some other dry ingredients to create this sort of roux that's going to start this cream sauce that we're going to be making for this cheese sauce that's going to be for the mac and cheese. Okay, now that we've got our butter nicely melted, let's go ahead and add in some other ingredients. We're going to go ahead and add in our flour right now. And we're going to go ahead and add in our salt and pepper. Just like that. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and add in our onion salt and garlic powder. Just like that. There we go. Alright, get that nicely incorporated. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and add in our paprika. Paprika. There we go. Alright then. Okay, now you want to get yourself a whisk, and all we're going to do is on low heat still. Remember that now, we're still on low heat. We're just going to go ahead and whisk this together like this. You constantly just want to keep stirring this. We're going to want to get this for about 2 minutes, nice and combined, just like we're doing. And then there you go. I mean, that's pretty much what it's going to look like when it's all done. Now, there you are. Now, that is nicely combined. We're all set for that. All right, next. Now, we're going to go ahead and we are going to add in our milk. All right. Okay, now that we have our roux incorporated here, next thing we want to go ahead and do is add in our milk. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, we want to incorporate this milk slowly, okay? We're only going to pour a little bit at a time. And then we're just... And you just want to go ahead and just stir this. And we're going to incorporate all this milk in first, and then we're going to turn this to high once we incorporate this in. So we just keep adding in more of our milk. You can go ahead at this point and add a little bit more in, and then just stir like we're doing there, just to get it in, like that. All right. And just stir it all together now. Just like that. Now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and turn this up to medium-high. What you want to do now is you want to just stir this and get this to a boil. And once it starts to boil, then we're going to cut the heat off, all right? And then we're going to go ahead and stir this probably for about another 5 minutes. And this is basically what we're doing here. I'll show you here how it's going to look when it gets to this boiling point. Okay, now you can see at this point it's starting to boil. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and turn our stove back down to low. And we want to just go ahead and keep whisking this for about another 5 minutes. We want to get this nice and thick, all right? And that will happen here. I will show you in just a second here. We'll do a little time-lapse photography for you here. And we'll advance to about 5 minutes here. Let me show you. Okay, now that we've got our sauce ready to go here, we're going to go ahead and increase that with some cheese, which is going to make this fantastic macaroni and cheese just wonderful. All right, let's go ahead now and add in. We've got our 3 cheeses that are all mixed up in here. Let's go ahead and add those in. Okay, and you can see how wonderful this looks. How wonderful this looks. It really, really just looks wonderful when it's all mixed up. Well, now that we've got our cheese sauce all ready to go, we're going to go ahead and incorporate our macaroni that we've made to the manufacturer's directions on the back of the package. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're just going to add this in, and what I would suggest you do is that you just go ahead and add this in a little at a time. Get a spatula, a wooden spoon, and you're just going to go ahead and add this in a little at a time and mix this up. Don't try to add this in. Don't try to add this in all at once. If you plop this all in, it's going to be a big mess. And you don't have a lot of room to work with here. This is going to get right up to the top of this bowl, or this saucepan here, so you don't want to go ahead and just throw it all in. Gradually add your pasta in like we're going to be doing right now. Watch, see how I'm doing this? Now you're just going to go ahead and incorporate this like this, you see. Real simple. If your cheese starts to get a little too hard, go ahead and put this back on low for a little bit to soften it up at the lowest setting. Just go ahead and do that. Okay. Now let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and incorporate more of the rest of our macaroni in here. Like I said, it's just important that you don't plop it all in, because again, you're going to have it close to the top. You see how close to the top we're getting here on this saucepan, right? Well, that's what I'm talking about. Make sure you get all of it now, too, because there isn't a lot. We only used 8 ounces, so about a half a package of regular size elbow macaroni. So you want to get it all just like that. All right, let's go ahead now and finish stirring this up, incorporating this, and then we are going to be ready to roll here. Let's go ahead and stir this up here, just like this. See how this is all coming out? This is great. This smells fantastic. This is the perfect consistency we want for our creamy mac and cheese. That's why we call it creamy mac and cheese. You can see how nice and creamy that is. Wait till we get the cheese and the crushed Dorito toppings on top of this. All right, well, there we go. That's it. Easy, short, and simple. My friends, that is our creamy mac and cheese before we go to stage 2 and really crank this up with some fantastic cheese and crushed Dorito topping. I'm telling you, this will take what we have on the stove, which is perfectly fine, and just notch it up to 11. As they would say in that movie Spinal Tap, notching it to 11. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and set up things here to show you how that's all done. We're going to go to a mailbag segment. Now, if y'all don't know what mailbag is where one of you guys out there, one of the viewers out there, send either myself or one of our cast members a question, and we go ahead and answer that. It can be any question you have. We hold no bars. We will answer it for you. So let's see who out there this week has their fantastic question for me. Could be one of the characters. I don't know. Let's find out right now on this segment of Mailbag.
Mailbag.
Welcome to another edition of Mailbag. This week's question is for yours truly, Chef Ron Locke. And this week's question comes from John B., who lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. And John wants to know, hey Chef Ron, do you own any pets at all? Well, I used to own a couple dogs back a few years ago. I don't right now. I don't have any four-legged animals, but I do have a couple tanks with some aquatic tropical fish, some African cichlids that I do have. Right now with my schedule, I'm traveling so much and I'm working anywhere between 12 to 16-hour days. I really don't have the time to devote and the attention to devote to an animal right now. Fish are they're pretty self-sufficient. You just throw a little food in there periodically and they're fine. Four-legged animals need a lot more attention, a lot more care. And right now, with my career, I just can't really do that. Hope to someday get another one down the road again. But right now, my cichlids are my pets, and they're the quietest cichlids you'd ever want to see. It's a nice thing about fish, nice and quiet. Most of the time. They actually do bang up on the tank when they want their food. They're a pretty smart breed of fish, let me tell you. But that's for another story for another time. Anyway, that answers your question, John. Thank you so much for asking it. If you have a question for either myself or one of our cast, please ask us by writing us at crl@chefronlocke.com. That's crl@chefronlocke.com. And in the subject heading, just put mailbag and then just ask your question. And if you are one of the lucky ones and we pick your question, we will answer it on a future edition of Mailbag. So, that's it. Let's go ahead and get back to the Chef Ron Locke Show. Alright, we're all set now to take our stage 1 creamy mac and cheese that we just did for you in the last segment, and we're going to go ahead now and put it into our 8x8 baking dish that we have right here. Okay? And so let's go ahead and start that up. We've got our saucepan full. We're going to go ahead and just add this in to our lightly greased. Now make sure you lightly grease this 8x8 baking dish as well, alright? But have a lightly greased baking dish. We're just going to add this in like so. You see how we're doing? Very simple. Right out of the pan. Just like that. Get all of that creamy goodness that you got. You worked hard to get all that. Make sure you get every ounce of it, alright? You're going to need it. The nice thing about this is that it doesn't make a huge amount. So this is perfect for 2 to 4 people, I would say. So I would say a family of 4, assuming that you eat other things with this. Not just this. I'm going to get to that in a second too, because I want to talk about something about adding meat to this. But, you know, it's really a nice meal for someone, or a family of, like I said, 2 to 4 that really don't want to have a lot of leftovers left over. This won't give you a lot of leftovers if you do it in that style of a family of 4. So what I was going to say, and let me go ahead and just even this down a little bit. We want to make sure that we get this nice and flat because we're going to be adding that great topping that I'm going to show you here in just a second. But you know, what you can do too, and I wanted to tell you this in the last segment, is that if you want to go ahead and bump this up to a meat dish, a main dish, an encore, or an entree, you can go ahead and add in bacon, chop bacon up. That would be good. I've done that. You can go ahead and add in ham. Diced ham, that's always really good. I've even done turkey. I've made this the day after Thanksgiving and added turkey in this, and it worked out just as well too. So just some pointers and tips there if you wanted to go ahead and make this a little more of a main meal. You can add meat into this. And do that basically when you add in the macaroni at the end in your saucepan. Go ahead and add in your meats as well and stir that all in, and then you've got something even more kicked up than what we're going to do for you right now. Alright, so that is it. Okay, so now we've got our 8x8 baking dish loaded with our great creamy macaroni and cheese. Now I've washed my hands before this segment. I'm going to go ahead and add in some cheese here. I've got about a cup of cheese here. This is the shredded sharp cheddar cheese, and just go ahead and layer that over the top. Oh yeah, I love cheese. I love cheese. I love bacon. You know, thank God for gyms. At least for me, because I would probably be very, very heavy if I didn't have some sort of exercise. But you know, I always say that you can eat things like this. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you do everything in moderation. Everything in moderation, okay? And also include a little bit of exercise as well in your regimen, okay? Just to make sure you're kind of circulating those calories every day. That really helps as well. You know, diets are great and all, but I think really the key is just moderation. You know, honestly, if one person would sit down and eat this whole thing, that's a lot of calories. It really is. I mean, this really is for a family of probably 2 to 4. But, you know, probably somebody could polish that off, I would imagine, too, if you were pretty hungry. So, all right. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is add in our crushed Doritos that we have here. And that's basically done. You can do this a couple different ways. You can either do this in a food processor, which is what I do, and pulse it on crush or chop, or you can go ahead even and put these in a plastic Ziploc bag, a zipper bag, and get like a rolling pin and just roll it and crush them that way too. A lot of different ways you can do it. Food processor is the fastest way. If you've got one of those, that's the ticket with this. Just go ahead. Easiest way, you can use a spoon. Again, I love getting in here with my hands, the earthy way of doing it, and just pouring it on top. You have a lot more aim and direction when you do it this way. Alright? Now, also at this point, you want to go ahead and preset your oven to 350 degrees. You should be doing that right before you get this 8x8 baking dish lined and layered with all of this goodness that we're doing for you right now. So we've got our oven preheating as I speak here. And that's all you're doing. You see how I'm just layering this in. Now, it's going to get a little messy. You may have a little more. I use about probably 2 cups of crushed Doritos. Now, you can probably get away with 1 cup, but I always like to really put a lot on top. Because what's going to happen is the cheese is going to melt. And if you have a very thin layer of these crushed Doritos, that cheese is basically going to go ahead and incorporate and infuse with these Doritos, and it's going to get a little soggy. Even that we're baking it uncovered, it's still going to get a little soggy. So you want to get a really nice layer, a good roof on top of your baking dish here, of your macaroni and cheese. I'm just kidding. I'm smelling these Doritos and I'm listening. There's this woman out here and she's going, that looks so good. I can hear you, ma'am. And it caught my attention for a second. I apologize there. I very rarely ever stop saying anything. I'm always gabbing or doing something, and she just took my speech away by saying that. So, there we go. All right. I got a little bit for, I don't know, for somebody there. All right, that's pretty much it. Now, you see what we have. We've got this fantastic casserole going on here. Now, we're going to go ahead right now and put this into our preheated 350-degree oven. Just like that. Nice and simple. All right, we are going to take a quick break here. We got an important message we're going to show you here, and when we come back, we're going to go ahead and show you the final presentation of our creamy macaroni and cheese with crushed Dorito toppings, and I get to take a little taste of this and just make sure that the quality assurance of this is up to snuff. So stick around and we'll be right back.
On the next episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show.
So that's it. Nice and simple. All of it looks like it's going to be a yippee-yi good top of the meal. Oh yeah. So anyway, now I'm going to get going here. But for now, y'all, it's happy trails time to you. Until we meet again. This is Chuck the Cooking Cowboy saying adios. And our sour cream and onion chips. Can't dispute those are chips, right? That's right. That's right. Guy out here goes, yeah, man! Yeah, man! We have fun here on the Chef Ron Locke Show. Now, I also have here my paprika. We'll add that in. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and add in our garlic powder. Alright? So mainly it's chips with a little bit of oomph to it. Alright? What? Oomph? Just like that. So, what did you think of our final creamy macaroni and cheese with crushed Dorito toppings on it? What did you think of that last shot we showed you? Doesn't that look good? Didn't that come out wonderful? And that can happen for you too if you try this recipe. Let me tell you, this house smells incredible. And I love when I have people over and I make this, because I don't always tell everybody everything that I'm making when I'm having dinner. I might give them an idea of what the main entree is going to be, but I won't tell them all the sides and desserts and certain things. I'll kind of leave that as a surprise. So when people come over and they smell this goodness, this cheese goodness that you smell when you bake this recipe, man, they know what it is, and they're clamoring. They can't wait to eat, because people that have tried this love this. It's one of my favorite recipes. It's one of the most requested recipes I get when I'm having dinners and such from other people. If we're doing a casual, just a casual Sunday dinner, this is one of the sides that everybody loves. And like I said, you can add meats to these too and make this an actual entree or an upgraded side as well. I mean, it's fantastic what you can do with this, you know? All right, again, I'm yakking way too much. I need to be eating, so let's go ahead and give this a shot, all right? Dig it over here on the side, just like that. Let me grab my napkin too. Oh yeah. You see what I'm saying? Although, you know, of course now it's making a layer out of me, because actually it's all staying on top. Normally it would crush down a little bit more down in this area. It would fall down. See there, if I do that. All right, I'm making a way mess. All right, let me go ahead, let's give this a shot. You get cheese explosion right off the top. You know, like I tell you every week, I try to tell you how it enters the flavors as you eat this. The first thing, you just get this massive cheese explosion with the topping. You're using the nacho cheese Doritos, and so you've got that cheese explosion right on top. You've got that layer of sharp cheddar cheese underneath it, and all that cheesy goodness that's in the mac and cheese that we did for you in that first segment in the saucepan, our brick and mortar there. I'm telling you, it is just fantastic. I can't tell you the crunchiness of the crushed Doritos and that real soft cheesy underbelly of the mac and cheese just really complements each other very well. This is a fantastic side. Again, kick in some bacon or some ham or even some turkey, and you've got one heck of a side or an entree. All right, that's it. That is our creamy macaroni and cheese with crushed Dorito topping. And that, my friends, is it for the Chef Ron Locke Show for this week.